afternoon. You're welcome to your favorite social media program, The Buzz. I am Miss Blossom. Of course, it's a Monday and it is the 26th of May 2025. Just the day to Children's Day. I'm saying this because of someone until that day before we do the proper thing. But anyways, before we go further, we're supposed to do this shout out for a long time now, but due to some technical issues, we could not. So on behalf of Kenneth Obina, I'm saying happy birthday to Mrs. Uche Udimba. So yes, happy birthday to you. We wish you well, and of course, from all of us at Galaxy TV, we wish you the very best. Well, I'm not doing this alone. I have Patricia, my co-host. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Blossom. It's good to see your pretty face.
Yes, it's always amazing to have you on set with me. Well, I have three amazing guests seated and to discuss today's topic, which are very hot topics. Okay, I'm going to start from my far right. Is Chief Godi. Okay, it's good to have you in the studio. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Blossom. Maybe I have to do a cease and desist. I have to sue for a cease and desist from the further notice before me as chief when I come back and ask to call the chief in again. But as it is right now, the country is not stable enough. It's not where it's supposed to be. Therefore, I want to flow with my people. So I remain Godi officer.
Okay, Godi officer.
He's made it very official.
Very official. So it's fine. We'll go with that. We also have Bachi in the house. He was feeling, under the weather last week. But of course, after going to the best doctors in Nigeria, he got back on his feet. It's good. It's good to have you, Mr. Matthew. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And of course, we have another guest. It's for Chacha. Table breaker, table shaker. Hopefully today our table will be intact. It's good to have you on the show, Femi.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And maybe I should adopt the name Chief now that my brother is throwing it out because I disagree with his reasons for throwing the GC title away. But when we get into issues, we can decide and break that down.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, we'll just go into the topics we have for today.
As of Blossom, we have the federal government to seek confiscated units from Emefiele to Nigerians. And then the federal government has announced plans to sell 753 housing units confiscated from the former Central Bank of Nigeria CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, to the members of the public. This was revealed in a statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development following a joint site inspection by the Minister Ahmed Dankiwa and the Chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Olanipekun Olukoide. The housing estate located in Abuja was recovered by the EFCC in December 2024 and handed over to the ministry on a directive from the President of Tinubu. Once the house has deemed structurally sound, a housing unit will be made available to Nigerians through the renowned Hope Portal. And Hope Portal is a government platform aimed at increasing public access to affordable housing. By praising the EFCC for what he described as one of the most substantial recoveries in Nigeria in history, the minister also stated that the government of the day is serious about fighting corruption and urged all public officials to avoid corrupt practices. He also urged citizens to continue supporting the EFCC in its anti-corruption.
Okay, all right. I was supposed to go into this topic, but I just realized we don't have a visual for this, so I might have to go to the next because I asked for a weekend story. We're supposed to go for the weekend story. Apologies to our viewers. I just had to allow her to read that. So, but we are going to be taking weekend proposal, and there is a video to this. Of course, refusing the proposal to build houses, Beggars, and Almajiris. So, of course, there is a sister channel that covered this. So we'll just quickly go check how refused, why refused, and if it's cool. We'll have our guests to analyze that. Let's quickly watch the video. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for that video. So I'm just gonna start with Chief Body. Okay, so we should throw away the chief, right? For now. Okay, so you had
no problem. It's still in your head.
It's in my head. I don't know.
It take time.
It take time, or maybe not.
It's all right. It's okay.
So looking at what Wike said, the main thing I heard him say was because they are not indigents, but of course they are Nigerians. And so what would you think about that statement? And do you think it's right or it's fair for him to have made that statement and refusing to actually, give them places to stay, accommodation?
Even in New York, there are homeless people.
Okay.
There are homeless people everywhere in the world. And you can obviously provide home for everyone. And that's why you see some people in New York, in California, sleeping under the bridge. If there is any budget for that, if that is part of its objective in providing housing for the Almajiris, then that should be an holistic government policy to do that, because when you do for Abuja, you must also cascade it to the subnationals, all right? Well, I wouldn't know why it says it doesn't want to do it, because anyway, there's this entitlement mentality, especially for the people of the northern extraction of this country. It was a senator, I think, Andume, that made that suggestion that they should be building houses for Almajiris. And I think what the government should focus on is to build low-cost housing, not to build houses for those who do not have homes. Let the people, because the home deficit, the housing deficit is massive in Nigeria. And that's why a lot of people could not afford. As I speak to you today, a lot of people are at the park going home to their village because they cannot afford accommodation in Lagos. So if what government wants to do is to provide affordable homes, then building house for Almajiris should be secondary. So let the people that can afford homes.
But he's not stating that he cannot afford them. He's stating the only reason why he's not doing that is because they are not citizens, indigenes of Abuja.
I mean, even in my state is not building all this for beggars.
That's the FCT.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that in my state, that the indigene can be readily identified and know that you are from this state. So his excuses might not be what I want to dwell on. I may dwell on what other things that the government needs to do. If the government did renewed hope policy and agenda provide affordable homes, then the building houses for Almajiris, who's obviously is going to be absolutely free, giving them absolutely free
accommodation
to live, should be secondary.
So let me come in here to Cody, or rather Cody.
It's still in your head.
Yes, it's in my head. Okay, I remember that, Matthew, if you could answer this. I remember in Jonathan's time, he built houses for the Almajiris and even schools. So what happened to these houses and schools now that we are asking the FCT to build new ones? He built in the FCT, built states in the north.
What you are trying to remember was a school system you want to build for the Almajiris. It's not housing.
Okay.
But let me tell you that even the federal housing scheme is not a charitable thing. It's not on free basis. So you need to ask, if you are now building houses for Almajiris, the house on free basis, going forward, how do you maintain it?
Okay.
So the whole idea of saying you want to build houses and give to people on free basis, I don't think it's obtainable anywhere in the world. I'm not saying there's no social scheme. And I think the issue of Almajiris system, I think it has been largely criticized. Under COVID-19, I remember that even the northern stakeholders were looking at ideas on how to even jettison the idea. Because these are Nigerians who deserve good life.
Sure.
These are Nigerians who their parents do not give them adequate education and care. I think there are laws in place that now normally compels parents to make sure that the children acquire some level of basic education. I'm not saying it's wrong if they are burdened to Nigerian government, because after all, they are Nigerian citizens. But the point here is, you don't start handling federal government to start building houses for Almajiris. I think I question the rationale behind
The man
came up
who
with the
said?
issue.
The senator.
Yes, of course, because I'm not saying the government could not do anything for people who are below poverty line. But they say you want to start building houses and give it to Almajiris. Personally, I think I'm against it.
Like he said, we have beggars in other states too.
Yes, it's not restricted to Abuja. Why should you not start bankrolling? Of course, some people's negligence cause what we are facing now.
Sure.
And of course, they are already, I wouldn't want to use some derogatory word anyway, but let me quickly tell you that the bottom line where we are seeing some level of insecurity in the northern part of the country is the negligence from the part of most of these parents you see in the north. So I think somebody should be bold enough to tell them to take care of their children.
Because I also learned I also learned that they said they, manage the children to a certain age, send them out there to beg for, taking care of the parents, to feed the parents.
That's why I said I don't want to use some level of derogatory word. But the point here is the stakeholders from the north should know that they have a responsibility to take care of those children. So that they don't turn out to become a menace for the whole society.
Okay.
We are talking about how to even look at the basis for which we are fighting insecurity in the northeast. You see that people are vulnerable to be radicalized because you give birth to them, you allow them to grow in the wild, no proper parental care. So I think the people should take note.
Okay, let me link it up with the first story from Melvin's waiting. That's the federal government confiscating Emefiele's buildings. Now, those are buildings. Now, let's talk about housing. Housing has been very expensive. I don't think it's only in Lagos. I think also in Abuja it's pretty expensive. Now, they said they want to release these houses to Nigeria to be able to afford. How possible do you think the federal government can achieve it? Because this is not the first time they'll come out with such housing scheme, and at the end of the day, it is still the likes of them that end up having the household is empty.
To buy it themselves.
Let me start from the Almajiri issue, then I'll link up with the housing. I agree with my brothers in the house, and I think, you see, it's a mindset problem. It's a mindset problem because it's how votes are rigged. That's how the millions of votes in certain regions are gotten, and people who are beneficiaries of such humongous votes will not want that system to be eradicated completely. That's number one. Number two, there are those who profit from it daily. There are people, I took my time to make certain inquiries, and you'll be shocked to know that there are people who collect this money that different people give those beggars in the name of doing certain rituals, then hand over neat words of notes to these guys, and they pay more because there is something they expect from all of those money that has been collected from different people. So I can tell you more reasons why, I can even close like 6 reasons why it looks more like it is systemic. So now, trying to uproot that, you'll be shocked that a whole senator is the one that is making such recommendations. Then you understand the mindset. Why I said it's a mindset problem. And he's even referring to the 70s. He said as far back as the 70s. Going forward, I know they're still going to this government when census take place towards the end of the year. Because they're trying to link your NIN, they're trying to link too many things, BVN, and once you can't identify yourself with certain things, you will be kicked out. Because obviously these are machineries for rigging elections, and somebody who knows that is likely to lose the election from a certain area will do everything to ensure that all of those gimmicks that comes to play is cut off completely. So I know that I'm expecting a serious mindset warfare. But back to the issue, does that mean we should throw away the baby and the bathwater? No. I'm of the opinion that some of these guys should be. There was a time during Fashion's regime that they were deporting them back to their state. Yes. But I'm of the opinion that each state government should pick up these guys. They should have vocational scheme. In 3 months, 4 months, there should be things that these guys should be able to learn. Then put them where they can now make money. Because see, their mind has been wired to make money daily. You will find out that there are people in my area that they only help people. And when there was a time, every time they expect me to drop 500, 1,000, and there was a day I refused, and I told one, come, you guys come and help me wash my cars. No, well, instead of giving you 1K, I'll give you guys 2K. Do you know they didn't want to wash? Because their mind has been wired to free money. So it's a mindset thing. So if you don't find a way to now fit, once they know that, but the problem I have with government is when government pushes or flushes things, they don't create alternative before flushing those things.
Yeah.
Do we have those vocational centers that can train these people for 3 months? Then you now find a way to now empower them to make those things and then sell, so that their earning capacity
Will continue.
Then back to the housing issue. There's a problem with the distance between government's policy and we are the end part. That's why you find out that one thing can buy 5, and we now inflate and now want to resell. It happens in shops, all these local shops.
True.
So I'm still struggling to understand between policy and implementation what is really still happening in Nigeria. Honestly, you will see something that is good on paper, but when it comes to implementation, some people hijack.
But don't you think this time will be different because there's a renewed hope portal? So it makes it different. Don't you think there'll be different?
What makes it different?
There's a portal. There's never been a portal for that.
Who told you? Who said there's never been a portal?
It's just sales on the paper.
Okay.
But this one is a renewed portal. According to this,
what does the portal mean?
Nigerians managing it.
What does the portal mean?
Who are used to the system?
That's why I still believe that most of these things is still on implementation.
Let me shock you. Do you know that our train station, they thought booking online will cut down racketeering. But you know what people do? People that work there, you now do all the booking and block it. So when you come physically, you just find that once you get to the site, it will talk red, showing that it has been booked. Those seats have been booked. Yeah. But when you appear physically, that's when you will now know that there are empty seats, because some people want to actually make profit of it. Fine. Some of us have been, I stay close to Abado region, and some of us have been using a lot of them as scapegoats because, you just, but why will people keep looking for means to outsmart a system? Obviously, it's showing now. The government is expecting revenue because when you log on to that, the portal, it shows you can book. Sometimes even for next, the only ones that are always available are 3 days after.
Not for that day.
You will see what happened now that they want to do Ilea, what's the something coming?
Oh, yeah.
There used to be free buses.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want to travel, try it. You'll be shocked. Chief Goni, that for the Ilea dates, it's already booked. And as I'm talking to you now, Chief Goni, for the layer dates, it's already booked.
But don't you think that people have actually booked ahead?
No! When you get there to this, I'm telling you from experience. How did I know? I wanted my children to have an experience of traveling to Ibadan by train. You understand? So it's close to, from Songo to Agbado. Yes, it's very close. So I checked. I was trying to book red. The ones that I saw that is green was like maybe after like 3 days. And I wanted to do tour and flow so that they can have that experience. I bet you it was when we went to the train station. Then I now said, why is this? Okay, you won't go, I won't go now. My trip. Okay, we'll go fear. I still had the opportunity to choose where I wanted to sit.
Oh wow.
So if it's booked, will I be able to even choose?
No.
So I'm saying practical. So look at, I'm talking about train. Now imagine the portal for the housing, whatever, and you now see sold out.
Okay, let me read a message so that we can react to this one. This is from Ozi Shrive. Topemu says, I agree with the FCT minister. Why those northern governors fail to do the needful? If not, more beggars will migrate there to enjoy it. And before you know it, there's serious insecurity. So governors should do the right thing. Well, Chief God, let me come back to you. It's not supposed to be one of the things we should be focusing on now, building free houses. But if imagine they had to do that, do you think that would also make more Almajiris and beggars migrate to that place and cause more insecurity? Because I feel like it will be controlled or managed.
Yes, Blossom. Grass is always greener on the other side until you get there. When you get there, now know that grass is actually greener. Such policies would also encourage a lot of indigent Nigerians to move from one part, not just from the northern region, even the southern region, to Abuja, and it will make Abuja unsafe. Abuja is a federal capital territory. That means that it is a representation of what Nigeria is. Because every diplomat, businessman, technocrats, scientists that wants to come to Nigeria will first find themselves in Abuja. So whatever Abuja tells them is what Nigeria tells them. So if we continue with that kind of policy, we're going to end up denigrating the city of Abuja. Abuja is not where beggars should be. How do we always do it? When somebody is visiting you for the first time, it's not as if you sweep your house every day. Why do you want to spend the whole day cleaning the entire place? Because you want to create an impression. All right? So when somebody comes, this person is not a dirty person. Even if you are not a dirty person, somebody comes to you for the first time and finds some dirt. You are a dirty person. So I feel that without FCT minister turning that request, I think it is something that even if, yes, there are shelter, what do they call it? Shelter home, something like that.
Yeah,
DP camps.
Yes, DP camps. You can take them away from the outskirts, build something that is not permanent. Those people live in it. Because look, the son of a beggar today will get a scholarship tomorrow. So what happened? He will take his mother whenever he's through from school, get a job. He could take his parents from there. So it's not as if all the beggars are going to die poor.
Women beggars.
Yes, and so I think the only thing that the senator should actually advise is to create a school for them. School in Abuja for them in the outskirts. They can study, and the government will take up that responsibility, because it's not easy. You can't actually give somebody a free house, because it takes maintenance. You have to maintain it. You have to do a lot of things. That's why they call low-cost housing. Low-cost housing means that you still part with something. So back to the houses that ministry have taken over. I am still struggling. Madam said there is a new portal. I don't know what that means. if that means another police to check whether the people that are buying it are the real people that they expect to buy. But I feel the government is not sincere, because those houses are luxury homes. Those houses cannot be turned into low cost. So the government in the first place is not sincere.
So you mean more of Nigerians
more of Nigerians, if they want to part with those houses, some of us cannot purchase it. We cannot, because it's a luxury homes, duplexes. A poor man, middle class don't live in duplex.
Average, even
those are, you see what I'm saying? So when the government says we are going to tell it to poor Nigerians that are on middle class, at a lower level income, that are not rich.
But Chief, I feel like it's actually, let's look at it. So I feel like it's actually possible, because they didn't build the house, they didn't use their money. It was a squandered money, right?
That's listen.
It's very possible.
It's not possible. Let me tell you, because the rich people cannot see a poor man getting something first before him. Now that is a luxury home. If you build a low-cost housing, the rich person would not want to come there. All right. The highest a rich person can do is to buy many flats and rent it out.
Or dash it out.
And rent it out. But in that housing estate is where they built it for affluence. They built it for people who want to experience luxury. So I don't know how they are going to turn those duplexes into bungalow and sell it to ordinary people, because at the end of the day, government, don't forget, government consider that it was its money that somebody stole to build it. So they need to recover it back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So he said something that is not possible for them to give it as a low amount. What do you think is the way forward? Actually, is it even possible? Like you said, it's not possible. Only the rich can buy it. But is it possible? Is there any slight chance that even the average, not even the poor, the average can actually get a hand of the house?
To start, I've never seen anything that is transparent in Nigeria under democracy. Maybe if you know what, you can remind me. National democracy in 1999, that's always been the same thing. But again, if you are looking at the whole essence of the constitution and trying to sell it back to the public, you begin to wonder, just like I used to ask under Muhammadu Buhari, does anti-corruption, fighting of crime start and end at city? That was all the question.
So now, what was I
almost all through
this session.
But this time around, I'm repeating that question in the direction of Emefiele.
Okay.
So the point I'm trying to make here is, the moment I start seeing government agencies, whether anti-graft, whatever manner, that have responsibility to do check and balance, start knocking at the doors of people on the basis of fairness, equity, then I will know that the government is serious. But for me, well, I'm not saying the person in question talking about Emefiele is not corrupt, but the point is, since the government have started all the fight against corruption with Emefiele, have we seen any conscious effort from the government to even unleash it on any other individual? Are we saying all the former governors are sent? To answer a question directly in terms of transparency and maybe the target Nigerians will get it, I'll tell you that for me it is not possible. Because everything in Nigeria is politicized. Just like you said, it's not possible that you see politicians who perhaps may not have a home in Abuja. Because there are some politicians who may not have a home in Abuja who already have the corridor of power. Now you want to tell me before the people at the lower cadre of the society to have, of course.
So the corruption continues.
It's painful because all I'm hearing is negativity here. Like, it's not that we are negative. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What we are saying is,
okay.
You see what we are saying? Confidence, you don't earn it. You don't enforce it. Like the government, for instance, if you want people to start speaking good of the government, you don't compare them. It's something you earn over time. If people look at your trajectory of your attitude, of your policies, of your behavior, over time, you would have earned that credibility. And I'm telling you that based on what we have experienced as a people since 1999 to date, I can categorically tell you that there's no transparency in the Nigerian system. It's not about Tinubu's government. I'm telling you, from 1999, Obasanjo was there, Yar'Adua was there, Jonathan was there, Buhari was there, now Tinubu. So it's a systemic thing. It's not even about Tinubu.
Okay, Femi Chada, just to wrap up on this show today, do you actually agree with the both of them?
I agree completely, and it's sad. Sincerely, it's really sad.
This is really sad.
Honestly, because even the person that is probably put in charge to sell also has family members already lobbying. Those family members are already lobbying, and they will remind him that once you lose this position, you are coming back to us.
So is it that there's nothing Nigerians can do about this to make sure that at least they can? I don't know.
Is it Nigerian? So is there nothing the government?
Wait, sorry, let me
can do?
Currently, there's a great concern on social media.
Okay.
The whole populace is asking the FCC, go and arrest a particular individual. Just permit me not to mention them.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, even I saw them saying it's the video is AI generated. So if you are getting,
I know who you're talking about.
So I don't imagine it, but I think the viewers can understand it.
Yes, this is very sad.
But is there no way the president can check and balance this?
President check and balance?
No, he could have people that he trusts in his cabinet.
In every government, there's always those that are.
You know, I keep asking myself, here in Lagos, we have seen some of these housing schemes dotted across us. How many people in that level have been able to acquire it? We are talking about Lagos now. We have one in Oba. We have it in Igondo. We have it spread across Lagos. Now, these houses are still being acquired by politicians. And when they acquire it, they inflate it and sell it to people who have also get their money perhaps in a dubious manner. Because for a proper housing acquisition, it must be credit on scheme. Nobody, no middle class civil servant can bring out 10 million naira at a go and buy a home today. It's not possible, except there's something he's doing that we don't know.
Yeah. Based
on his salary, based on what he earned legitimately in this country. We know. So the government, like I said, they are not sincere. They are speaking and there is no action. All right. There's so much motion. There's so much motion without movement. Everybody is talking. Everybody's talking. Nobody's putting this thing into action.
Nobody's making it right.
You can't want to sell a luxury home. It is anyway. At the end of the day, whatever we are saying, I believe that by the end of the sales, the media report will come out with the racketeering happens. I know that for sure. So at the end of the day, if the government want to build a low income houses for Nigerians, they know what to do. They know what to do. They know how to accredit people into that. They know how to recruit people into that kind of scheme, and they will believe in it. Not what Emefiele was building. Emefiele was not in his entire think of building a low-cost housing for anybody.
Government plan. He's looking at the
understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we should, as a country, but it's not as if we don't have good people anymore. And I think what is just need to do, we have good people. What is difficult is to do the good thing.
Let me add. I think we have a problem with mortgage system. Because even abroad, there are people that are moving within a year or 2 years. They say they've bought houses, and if you find out really well, it's actually a mortgage. It's not as if they have.
They bought the house. The house that they will use their lifetime to pay.
So the problem,
I want to do that.
We have a problem with the mortgage system. We don't have enough mortgage banks. Most of these other banks are. Most of the commercial banks are not looking into that regard because it's a long term thing, and you really need government to put so much money, partner with insurance, partner with quite a lot before Nigeria. Why should I put 10 million to buy car at once when I can actually split it and use that money to do other things? That is what happens in Nigeria because we don't have a functional mortgage system.
Functional credit system.
I think the reason is because we have the NIN is even a problem too.
No, the problem is that
we don't have a
the problem initially we have all this in place.
Okay.
But the whole thing collapsed. Yes, of course the normal as long as because what you see here is press advertisement. Like he's saying, if you have proper mortgage system, you don't need to struggle to pay the property. So once you the initial payment, you spread it over time. Of course, the money bank is there to see it through. Like he said, I've so many persons outside the country who acquire structure on the basis of mortgage system, and it's working.
Of course, it works. It works. Let me read this last message so we can wrap up because that time is already up. This one says, "Hello, good afternoon. In case of FCT minister saying he can't build houses for Almajiris, he's very correct. Even in the state where these Almajiris come from, the system already failed. So how is it going to work in FCT? No, they should be sent back to their state. Second, on the case of the housing unit, the best thing to do is to turn it to a police barrack or something, because selling it to people, corruption will definitely be involved." Thank you for that one. Okay, this one says, they said we should prefer solutions to Nigerian problem. Let them hit the nail on the head. Okay, they are all asking for solutions, which is what I've been asking. What can we do? Is there anything we can do?
We should hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You see, universal basic education compels parents to give the children some level of basic education, at least primary and secondary. So those children should fall back to the parents. Let the government enforce it because the law is there.
Okay. All right. So I think I'll put a wrap on that one. Okay, we have so many more messages, but we cannot read them. It's been amazing. And well, it's quite sad that at the end of the day, we do not have a solution for this.
Mortgage.
Just when you say mortgage.
Yeah, mortgage. It's worse everywhere.
The problem is that Nigeria is largely an informal economy.
Yes.
And in an informal economy, you will take you a whole lot to institute a proper, effective credit system, because so many people are out of the grid, the federal government grid, because there are a lot of vulcanizers who do not know their income, so you cannot trace their income.
Yes.
So I think it's still something that government should do, trying to push us into a 50-50 a formal and informal economy. If we can achieve, and people see how the people in the informal sector are doing well with this kind of scheme, a lot of people migrate.
Migrate, true. Another person suggesting that we should know the Jaconde action.
Since we're not this expensive back there.
Right. Anyways, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you everyone for our viewers for joining us. It's been amazing. We could not pick any call. Actually, there were sending more messages today. I do not know why. But anyway, thank you so much, Chief Gotti, your first day for being in the house. Chief Gotti, your first seems a little bit calm today.
I have a problem.
Okay. Apologies. Thank you so much for coming still.
Thank you.
And thank you also, Matthew, for being on the program. Thank you for, giving us the ginger and, of course, giving us good analysis also. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, God.
FME Chacha, as always, with the vibes, the table shaker. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank you
program.
for having me.
Thank
And
you.
sadly, I had to agree with Chief Gwede today.
I am the only
Because
person.
nobody was doing it.
I am the only person on this table all the time that speaks the truth. Do you know? Do you know why? I have no alliances with any politicians.
Okay. Because of Patricia. Thank you guys
for coming. Thank
We'll
you
see
guys
you
for
tomorrow.
coming. Keep winning until come your way. Same time tomorrow. I am Patricia Gabriels.
All right. You have a beautiful day. Bye for now. Thank you.